This week in our speculative fiction unit, we'll be exploring the idea of mythical creatures. As you watch the video, you should be summarising the information in your English books. That means picking out the key information. Ensure you write a heading to identify your notes as homework in your books. Complete the tasks outlined in preparation for our lessons next week. Mythical creatures are almost always literary creatures that generated popularity out of literary circulation and storytelling. They are legendary creatures that at one point were believed to be real beings, while some have their origin traced from literary myths. Mythical creatures can be found from ancient times to modern days. They range from stories to news broadcasts. Some people believe in them, while others do not. Discussions range on them and arguments ensue. The reason? People are purely fascinated. It seems forbidden, magical, lost and unknown. It drives people to have a passion, some a reason to live and others a reason to write. How does it drive you? This is what we're going to be questioning in class next week. Let's start by activating your prior knowledge. How many mythical creatures do you actually know of? Perhaps you watch a television series or read a book series that contains multiple mythical creatures. You need to research and find a number of mythical creatures in order to create a list of your top 10 favourite mythical creatures. Number 1 would be your absolute favourite, and one maybe you find the most interesting. Write the list in your English book along with all your homework notes. So are these mythical creatures real or are they just a hoax? Creatures like dragons and unicorns, they seem impossible to believe in. However, some mythical creatures have had conspiracy theorists investigating the possibility of their existence and actually finding various forms of evidence to suggest the possibility of their existence. Why would people go to such measures for such elaborate hoaxes? Money, fame? Some say what science dismisses as a hoax is actually true. No matter what the reason, hoax or not, and no matter our world's expanding scientific knowledge, there still seems to be room in our world for the belief in these unknown creatures. Such creatures include the Yeti, Bigfoot, and the Loch Ness Monster. The Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman, is said to live in the world's highest mountains, the Himalayas. These mountains have a particularly inaccessible habitat, making it quite hard for theorists to find proof of such a creature. The first report of this elusive creature was made in 1832 when a British official described an unknown hairy creature that walked erect. Later, this was coined as the Abominable Snowman. Sightings and so-called remains of the Yeti in the 1940s and 1950s sparked more interest in this topic. However, conclusive evidence has yet to be found of this monster. Some speculate that prehistoric primates found sanctuary in the high Himalayas, though few scientists give this theory credit, most believing the Yeti is just an animal. Similar to the Yeti, large hairy creatures are said to lurk in the woods of North America and the Canadian Northwest. But do they really? Said to be 2 to 3 meters tall, heavier than a man, with huge feet, shaggy hair and a repulsive smell, Bigfoot, or also known as Sasquatch, first hit the press in Canada in the 1920s. Stories of miners being attacked or abducted by monsters in the woods were soon dismissed as hoaxes or practical jokes. However, these reports didn't stop. More reports came in the 50s, followed by the most famous sighting made in 1967 by Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin, who filmed what looked like a female Bigfoot walking before then running off into the woods. This caused both excitement and argument in the world, people questioning whether or not a genuine unknown animal had just been discovered. Later, a friend of the pair revealed he was actually dressed in a suit and it was just all a hoax, though Patterson and Gimlin refused to own up. More stories were still reported and more research conducted, still sparking interest in whether or not the Bigfoot really exists. A lake more than 300 metres deep is sure to contain creatures of the unknown, and this is exactly what a London doctor snapped at Loch Ness in Scotland in 1934. An image of a monster with a snaky neck and head protruding from the water caused sensation in the world. More sightings of the nickname Nessie followed in years after. Robert Rines produced film evidence in 1975 of the elusive monster, revealing a 4-metre-long, reddish-brown creature with an arching neck and flippers. It raised questions as to whether prehistoric plesiosaurs had survived in the loch, sparking worldwide interest. This theory was ridiculed by geologists, and although sonar scans revealed occasional unidentified tracks or objects, later scans revealed nothing. Rines concluded in 2008 that Nessie might be extinct. So, without a body as evidence, Nessie still remains a mystery. This leads us to your homework for the week. Your task is to research a sighting of either the Yeti, Bigfoot, or the Loch Ness Monster. What you need to do is find a picture of this supposed sighting along with a written description of the events surrounding this photograph. Consider the facts of who, what, when, where, why, and how, and try to use research outside of this PowerPoint. Your description needs to be at least 100 words, however, more words is fine. You need to also reference where you are getting your information from. Bring this to class for discussion. See you then.